Let me introduce our guests. I have Dr. Benedicta Yayra Fosu-Mensah, who is a lecturer at the University of Ghana and a member of the NDC National Communication Team, and then also Amma Frimpong, who is a government communication team member as well. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Kweku, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good morning.
She calls me Kweku. She doesn't call me David.
Good to see
Oh,
you.
yeah, good to see you.
Kweku David Sakyi, good morning.
Yes,
How are you?
Yes, please. Good morning. How are you?
I'm very fine, thank you.
All right. Okay, so we want to begin the conversation this morning, and the first thing we want to talk about is the defunct Capital Bank issue, and now the issues in court. Okay, so we can't touch on the court issues per se, but the Finder has a story here. It says court grants 675 million Ghana cedi bail. So let's take a quick look at the story. We have it also on our news portal, and I'll just read quickly, and then we'll delve into the story. All right. So Capital Bank collapse. High Court grants Ato Essien 200 million Ghana cedi bail. And Accra High Court has granted a bail sum in the sum of 200 million Ghana cedis to the founder of the defunct Capital Bank, Ato Essien, in the ongoing trial relating to the collapse of the bank. The court also asked for 4 sureties, of which the persons standing in should be of good standing in society. The same bail condition was granted to the former MD of the bank, Fitzgerald Odonkor, and the CEO of Capital Bank, Tete Nete. The 4th accused person, the CEO of Reroy Cables, Kate Korte Papafio, was also granted bail of 75 million Ghana cedis with 2 sureties. The judge, Justice Chebafo, has also ordered the prosecution to give all documents and records that they will rely on as evidence to the lawyers of the accused persons. The amount, according to the Attorney General, which has been stolen, is 620 million Ghana cedis, and is said to have been given to Capital Bank as liquidity support. Okay, so the case is now adjourned to 18th of November this year. So we've begun to see action in terms of dealing with those who are supposedly responsible for the mishappenings in the financial sector. Your comment on this particular one, but then also the larger conversation will be the rest of the financial sector, the other institutions that were also went down. You know, will we see? This is a novelty actually, because for the first time, I think in our history, we have the top-ranking people in an institution like this bank being dragged to court. You know, and so on. So, what are your comments on this?
Good morning, David, and good morning, Benedicta. I'd like to say good morning to all viewers. If you could indulge me for a minute, I'd like to wish my aunt, Mrs. Theresa Anaman, a very happy birthday, Obaya, wherever you are. God continue to bless you. From all of us, Ifua, Fifi, Kofi, and myself, and Ato, we say happy birthday to you. Also to Mame Amonu Jemfo Adams, my younger sister, I wish her a happy birthday. Keep looking fabulous. God bless you all the time. The banking crisis, I think we've heard a lot about it. Enough stories have been going around. A lot of people have been talking about their monies being locked up. Just yesterday, we saw some customers and clients of the defunct Gold Coast, which turned out that they've changed their name altogether to Black Pack or
we'll talk about them
something
later.
else, you know. So
Black Shield.
Black Shield,
yeah.
okay. I read something on one of the news portals that I would like to just reiterate before I go on. Okay. And I'm reading from one of your, one other media online, which is My Joy Online. And it says, between June 2015 and November 2016, pursuant to an application by Capital Bank, the Bank of Ghana provided a total sum of 620 million as liquidity support to Capital Bank to enable it to meet its capital adequacy ratio and to enable it to service its maturing debt obligations. In October 2015, the first accused person, aided by the third accused person, caused a sum of 120 million of the liquidity support amount to All Time Capital Limited, investment management and advisory firm. You know, monies that were they had asked for from the Bank of Ghana, and these monies ended up in companies that belong to certain members of the same board, specifically Mr. Ato Essien. Some of the companies that the monies were transferred to belong to him. The sum of, another part is the sum of a Ghana 100 million, which was transferred to MC Management Services, was subsequently represented by the second accused person to BAG as initial capital of Sovereign Bank, while the 20 million that was transferred to Pronto Construction was used by the managing director of Pronto Construction ostensibly to purchase shares in Capital Bank. Intellectual form of Ponzi scheme. You ask me for money to, you know, help you grow the bank or, you know, make sure that you don't go down. And you end up using the same money that you have asked me for to, you know, give to companies or financial institutions that are owned by you. And these are people's savings, hard-earned money. I wake up in the morning, I go to work, I go to the market, I sit down, I save my money, I give it to you to, you know, put in the bank because I have confidence in you. And then you end up using my money to open another company for your own self, and round and round and round. That is what we are, from the little that I'm reading here and my little understanding, that's what's happened here. I'm very happy that the Bank of Ghana has brought some sanity into the financial institutions. We now have less banks or less financial institutions, but at least we can trust them. They have solid grounding. We also are beginning to have faith that the institutions that are meant to regulate them are doing their jobs. If all these things that happened within that time, the regulators had seen or raised red flags, we wouldn't have gotten to where we are now.
But the regulators were aware at different times that things were actually going on.
Yes, so now that we've gotten to this point, I mean, I would like to see at least somebody from the regulator's side also being held responsible, because the onus lied on them to ensure that it didn't get to this point where people have to lose their jobs. Thankfully, depositors' monies are saved, which is one good thing that I'm happy about. So people can go into CBG, or if they don't want their money to be in CVG, move it to another bank that is in good standing, which is a good thing. But Mr. Ato Essien recently was on TV saying all sorts and going around and telling, you know, on national TV saying all sorts. Now they are in court. He has to prove his innocence or otherwise, or the prosecution would prove otherwise, that the accused persons are not, you know, saying the truth, or they actually caused financial loss. I'm happy that it started. I'm hopeful that the rest of them, it's not just limited to these three. There were other financial institutions involved as well. I'm hoping that the other people that have caused this mess would also be made to face the law, so that even if I don't even know how to put it, so that people don't start saying, oh, there's the same old story again. We are hearing of it, nothing happens, you know, this will go on and on and on, and then the case will die a natural death. We are looking forward to seeing results. Something has started now. 3 people are in court. I'm confident and I'm hopeful that the rest of them would also face charges, and rightly so, because I woke up one morning and I saw UT, and then the next minute, or another bank, or Beige, or all these ones have been changed to some, you know, if they were in good standing, they wouldn't have been consolidated. So some wrong happened somewhere. Whoever is responsible for that wrong should be made to face the law. There are laws in Ghana. They need to bite.
But as the wrongs that happened, in this case, it's said to be stealing, right? They said they're being accused of having stolen the money. The other cases seem to be a bit different. Some of them are mismanagement, but mismanagement, is it a crime? You see what I'm saying?
You work for a company. You've been giving your...
It's different from misappropriation.
Well, if you mismanage it and it's run down, you haven't, let's say you tell me I didn't steal any money, but you still did something that got the company to go down. Whatever it is that you even if it's lack of supervision, you should be held responsible for that. You sat down, relaxed, didn't supervise to ensure that the right things are done to the extent that it's gone down. For it to go from hero to zero means there was a long chain of mismanagement that went wrong. It started gradually, it seeped through until they got to where they are now. So they should be held responsible. Maybe not for stealing, as in quotes, for other people, but something went wrong somewhere. Nobody is saying that they should be made scapegoats. That's why they are in court. The judge is going to go through it, the merits and, you know, whatever, and come to the logical conclusions. If any one of them is found guilty of whatever allegations has been preferred against them, they are laws, they are judgments. They should be made to realize that you can't sit down, plan something like that, and then walk away freely. We have so many of them. I mean, someone would go in, stealing is stealing, steal 3 tubers of plantain or something, and it's a quick judgment. You hear of 5 years with hard labor, this. But then when it comes to these white-collar ones, lawyers spin English here and there, adjournments, they go all flashy, give interviews, and there's big English, confuse us, and then it goes on and on and on until public interest wanes down. We are very much interested in it. We do not want it to wane down. We need to see some action, and not just for these 3, for everyone that has been responsible, be it regulators, be it board members, be it MDs, be it CEOs, anyone who is involved should be made to face the law.
All right. Dr. Fosu-Mensah, what do you make of this?
Okay, thank you. Good morning to you once again and our cherished viewers. I want to use this opportunity to thank women of Ghana today, to appreciate their hard work, and to also thank the doctors in our various hospitals that are giving in their best to support or to help the life of individuals in Ghana. I want to say that to remind all women once again, we are in Breast Cancer Month, which is the month of October, and I'm encouraging all women to go and have their breast examined. Well, and men as well, yes, to have their breast examined, because it's very important. It's early detection can help in cure. I want to also use this opportunity to send my condolences to the family of Mr. Ayikpa, who is a journalist at Central Tongue, specifically at the Dome, who lost his life yesterday in the evening around 6:30 when he closed from work and he was going home. My condolences to the family and to the people of Central Tongue. David, yes, coming back to the issue of Capital Bank collapse, I would say our position is the fact that, like Bank of Ghana said, those people should be held responsible, that's the directors and the shareholders. For now, our position is that we should not pronounce them guilty because the court have started investigation, and until the court proves that those people are guilty, we cannot say they are guilty. The court of jurisdiction is probing into the issue, and I'm very sure and I'm confidence that these people will carry out a good work, and at the end of the day, the truth will be laid bare. There are times people can be accused of wrongdoing, but there could be more to it than the public is being told. So I believe that investigation would bring out all the truth that Ghanaians needs to know. So we should all wait until that is done. That is our position. But having said that, the issue being, or the shareholders and the directors are accused of stealing. My question is, that stealing in a bank leads to a collapse of a bank? That is the question.
It depends on how much you steal, really, I guess.
Nevertheless, I will say that I don't think a CEO of a company, something that is your baby, something that you are relying on for probably your daily bread, you would want to collapse it. You would want to steal from it. You would want to do something that would bring the whole business to disrepute. So I will say that we need to wait for the court to bring out all the issues before we can pronounce these people be guilty or not. The other thing I would also want to say is the fact that these people have been, there's been an instance where they said the NDC administration, gave an amount of 620 or 610
Oh, it was the
million.
Bank of Ghana.
Bank of Ghana, yes.
Bank of
Ghana, yes.
Was it?
I mean, during the NDC era, Bank of Ghana gave this amount, and this amount was diverted. But in all these charges, none of these things have come up at the moment. So for me,
how do you mean that all these things had
I mean, the charges that are being leveled against them,
okay,
these issues haven't come up yet. The issue is that if, for example, the present administration, that's the present government, is saying that this or have collapsed this bank because for them, these people have stolen this money, and for that money they have to face the law. And they have spent an amount of 14, I mean, not just this bank, but 14 billion Ghana cedis in order to collapse the number of institutions that we have. I mean, the savings and loans, the other defunct banks.
You say 14 billion?
14 billion Ghana cedis have been, 14 million Ghana cedis have been used to collapse this bank. The issue is, why can't they, or why couldn't they have used this money to save the banks, to save, people's daily bread? I mean, the banks being, these banks collapsing is not just the issue of the managers losing their jobs or bank owners losing their property, but we are talking about people losing their jobs. Look at the number of people who have to go home because of the collapse of these banks. Look at the number of people who have to go through ordeals because banks have collapsed.
Are you suggesting
now,
that
I'm saying
the banks, the Attorney General's charge against these people of stealing this money is not true?
For me, I will say until they are proven guilty,
okay,
we cannot just take it on the surface that, yes, it's true. Moreover, we have instances where even governments are responsible sometimes to some of these challenges that the banks are facing. We have issues where contractors go to these various companies, like these banks, to take loan to carry out government contracts. They are waiting for their money to be paid. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. These banks are waiting. The government lock up the contractors' money. And these people are held responsible probably because this money hasn't been paid. So until all these allegations are proven otherwise, I will say that we should not judge them because there is more to it than that. Look at Papa Kwesi, for example. It's so pathetic. This is an indigenous bank. This is a man who have done so much that at a point, all Ghanaians were calling this man Ejumara. But look at this. Today, he's sitting in the house because people have, this current administration have collapsed his bank and other institutions. So for me, it's not just the issue of people have stolen money and so they should be held responsible, but we need to wait for the court to decide, or I mean, for the court to prove otherwise, that these people are really guilty before we can pronounce them guilty. But other than that, I think we need to be cool on that. But it's so pathetic that a lot of people have to lose their property, because I know some individuals who have invested their money, pension benefits, have put in there, and they have lost all this. The government promised that the collapse of these banks is going to help them to retrieve their money. How many months now? Just yesterday, we saw what happened when this Gold Coast Fund had to demonstrate because they are not hearing anything from the people responsible to refund the money. But this is a situation where the current government promised, or the reason why these banks were collapsed, because they feel, or they say that they wanted to save the depositors their money. But up to now, we cannot get this. And people are each day getting hypertension. People are dying because they cannot get their money. So instead of the government or Bank of Ghana collapsing these banks, I feel their approach was probably not the best. They should have rather tried to save the banks. There are other countries there are other countries who did a similar thing, like UK, in the US, where banks were in distress, and the government came in and saved the banks. If our government was able to save these banks, I believe that the people who are sitting at home today and have added to the unemployment population that we have would have been working. And I believe that these companies would have probably expanded and would have had a lot more people, getting employed. So I would say the approach is not the best.
Yes, you can, but we need to take a short break. So we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. All right. So welcome back. So we have I have a comment here from Joseph in Bolga. He says, so if the boss of the Capital Bank wins, can he take his bank back and able to employ people again? These people should have been sent to court the very day it collapsed. Okay, so let's move to the next story, and we want to discuss the one you mentioned earlier. Or you had wanted to react first. Okay, so just give a quick one and then we'll...
Benedicta mentioned something that if governments had put some, help these distressed banks.
The money that she was suggesting, that the money they used in cleaning up the financial sector, if it had been used rather to try and save the banks.
I read something to you here, specifically with respect to this particular bank. They were given 620 million to help shore up their deficit. Liquidity support. What did they do with it? It ended up in 2 companies belonging to the MD. If you have a baby, like she rightly said, that you are grooming to stand on its feet, you don't rob Peter to pay Paul, in quotes. That was what happened. The money went round in circles. It was even some of that same money that was supposed to be used in helping Capital Bank to stand on its feet. Some of that money was used to open Sovereign Bank and sent to the same Bank of Ghana to say that, look, we have been able to raise this kind of capital. The same kind of capital that is coming from the same money that you are supposed to be using to help Capital Bank stand on its feet. Who does that? I mean, if I have a company that I've worked so hard to, and I want to open branches, yes, by all means, spread your tentacles. But don't spread it so wide that you end up using the money that you are supposed to be helping the one that is limping. That one hasn't even been able to stand on its 2 feet. And you are moving on to another one. If you think that's good corporate governance, yes, the courts are there. They will tell all of us. We are all following. We need to see it happen. I for one, would like to see some concrete action being brought against them. Something should happen with this case. Because apart from people losing their job, and that's where we play on the emotional, we play the emotional part of it. People have lost jobs. By all means, if I come home and I tell my family I've lost my job, nobody is going to be happy. But on the flip side, the depositors' money are safe. Okay. We are saying that the depositors' money have been saved. Yes, some people still have monies that they are collecting, which is with the funds. There's a vast difference here between the people that have their daily amounts of money in the banks and the fund management. They are two separate entities we are talking about here. True. Two different things. When I save with the bank and it's on a daily basis, I'm able to go in there and withdraw money or put money in it. It's a vast difference from when I save money or when I invest money. That's the one we are in a separate fund, and they tell me after 90 days it would mature. Yeah. I'm hopeful that when I work there in 90 days, they are able to give me my money and the maturity. Okay. That's the separate thing here. But day-to-day people whose monies were in these banks that have now been consolidated are going in there, withdrawing and still doing business. They are coming back on their feet. So there's a vast difference there, which is what we are going to.
But then the reality is that people have
issues. People have lost their jobs. Yeah. There's also a flip side where people's monies have been saved.
Are you really sure about that?
Look into CBG now.
Here is the case now.
We are talking. That's where the difference is. We are going to go into that one.
Dr. Fosu-Mensah, the truth of the matter is that I actually know a number of people who work with some of these banks, and they've been able to take their money back.
They've taken their money back
and go in a different direction.
You can take the money back. And yes,
I'm not saying everybody.
Nobody's downplaying loss of jobs. Nobody's downplaying loss of jobs. But the mere fact that I'm confident in my mind that the money is safe because they were regulated. The Bank of Ghana has come out to assure us. We've had receivers from PwC as well, telling people to bring their names, bring your claims and all that. So there are structures working. That is what we need to see happening. We've had lapses in there for a very long time. I'm glad that this particular administration and the Bank of Ghana is doing something about it.
Okay, so let's move on to the next conversation. Locked up investments, which is what you were referring to earlier. All the Gold Coast customers are going to be settled by 2022. Now, 2022, yes. Let me just quickly read that. We have it on citynewsroom.com, and it says, we may settle all our customers by 2022. This is Black Shield Management Fund. So the story here says, Black Shield Management Fund, formerly known as Gold Coast Fund Management, has indicated that it will be able to make payment of locked-up monies to its remaining 59,000 customers within the next 2 to 3 years. According to the organization, it has been able to pay off a little over 9,000 customers out of the 68,000 that they have, leaving 59,000 people yet to receive their monies. Speaking of Eyewitness News on Tuesday, spokesperson for the organization, Benjamin Afre, said that much effort is being done by the company to raise money to pay off its clients. Now, I find this interesting. He says, much effort is being done to raise money. I'm going to read something from Black Fund Management, their statement that they put out earlier, for you to compare this statement, which I don't want you to forget. Okay, it says much is being done by the company to raise funds, to raise money to pay off its clients. Okay, it says, I admit that it will not take less than 2 years.
Is Black Fund defunct or that is active?
It's active.
Ah.
Yes.
So Gold Coast has transmogrified from Gold Coast to Black Fund, which is active now. Yes. And Gold Coast is defunct.
Gold Coast is non-existent.
That alone tells me all I need.
Okay, so it says, I admit that it will not take less than 2 years to pay off everybody. I'm not so sure it will go beyond, I'm sure it will not go beyond 3 years. So far, we've paid over 200 million cedis to customers. And I so said, there's a lot of work we're doing behind the scenes, hopefully to raise a lot of money. Once we do that, I'm sure a lot more customers will be paid, and the pay will be much faster than we are witnessing now. He says, he also noticed that all those whose monies were below 2,000 Ghana cedis have already, are part of the group that is already receiving the payments. Okay, so now the statement by the Black Fund Management, I just want to quickly read that to you, and then we can have the conversation. All right, so statement regarding the 15th October demonstration. This is from the Black Fund Management. It says, we have taken note of the demands being circulated by the leaders of a group calling themselves the aggrieved customers of Gold Coast Fund Management, led by individuals including Mr. Charles Nyame, a former customer whose investment has fully been paid. We find the planned demonstration, petition, and associated demands to be very unfortunate, given the tremendous progress we have made towards implementing a solution that will ensure that all our customers will have their needs met. Gold Coast Fund Management's structured finance product, which is a product in which the members of the customer group have investments, has never had more than 80,000 customers. As of October 2019, the structured finance product has less than 60,000 investors. This is talking about the fact that they have 59,000 left, you know, to pay. Okay. Yeah, and then it says that it is not and never was possible for 800,000 customers to embark on a simultaneous demonstration as stated by the group. We have announced and are following a program of paying our customers, beginning with those with balances below 2,000 Ghana cedis. We also have recently announced changes to our barter program, which will allow customers to acquire brand new items such as generators, televisions, motorcycles, as using investment balances. Okay. Payments are ongoing and will continue until every customer is satisfied. All right. So I think that's the last bit here.
Can you please read the barter part?
I'll come back to that. It says that the last bit here says, we have reached out several times to the executives of the group to meet and work out an amicable arrangement, but they have rejected those attempts. Our management team will continue to communicate with our customers to explain the way forward and assure them of the safety of the funds that they've invested. Okay, so on one hand, they're talking about safety of the funds. Okay, and on the other hand, they say that they're going to raise money to make payments. Okay, so you said you wanted me to read something on the barter.
Yeah.
Okay, so the barter trade here is it says that we have also recently announced changes to our barter program that will allow customers to acquire brand new items such as generators, televisions, and motorcycles using investment balances. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let me begin.
Okay. Before I do that, I'd like to say something small. Over the weekend, the president was on a tour of the certain parts of the eastern region. I was privileged to be part of it. He did in Koko to...
What has that got to do with...
Before he did that, he went to Ashanti, because Benedicta mentioned that Dr. Indum has said on several occasions that government should pay contractors so that contractors would... in turn pay monies being owed him.
Yes.
So at that tour and on one of the front pages of yesterday's dailies, there was a bold headline that contractors' monies are ready. Okay. So I'd like to use this opportunity to say that dear contractors and those who owe Dr. Indum, that he says he needs that money to clear his debts. The president on his tour mentioned it, and there's been information that monies are ready. First and foremost, the clients are looking for their money from Gold Coast Fund Management. Yesterday, I followed this throughout. I listened to point blank at a point where there was a exchange of words between the gentlemen who were on the program. And in the afternoon, I also listened to your news brief. And most of them were not even aware that the name had changed. They were going for Gold Coast, and now they are being told of Black Shield. That's the first thing that the regulators should alarm bells should be ringing there. You see, these are some of the problems that we are raising now. Regulator has said that Gulf Coast Fund Management is defunct. Now they are saying that they are black, why do I keep saying Black Shield management company. When was this company founded? When was it incorporated? Is it that the people that have their money at Gold Coast are the same people that have their money there? When I invest with you, I don't come and tell you that if my money has matured, give me a brand new generator. We are not doing barter system. That was way ages ago. I want my money. You are telling me that in one breath, you are saying you are looking at ways of making sure you find money. In another breath, you are telling me that if we can go to an arrangement and you give me a generator. It does not work like that. Dr. Indum's, I'm sorry, Gold Coast, or he's the face of it, he owns it. They need to stop playing these runabout games or merry-go-round with their customers. If I've deposited money, you told me it would mature in 90 days. Yes, I understand that in investment there are risks. If for anything at all, I lost my percentage, what happened to the money that I gave to you? Now you are using the money from Gold Coast that we can't find to come up with Black Shield. You don't, you see, white collar, for lack of a better word, fancy way of, a nice way of scam. It does not work like that. People are saying we need our money. They've gone through a process now.
But they would argue that it's just a rebranding.
Rebranding of a defunct company. The company that has gone down, you rebrand it. You are rebranding when you are in good standing. You rebrand when you are in good standing. You've gone down. There are issues there. People are looking for their money. So, even if you cannot give me my money.
So why don't you challenge the regulator?
So I'm challenging the regulator now. We need information because it means that there's a lax in a law somewhere that they've looked at and are able to come up and are even bold enough to stand in front of us and tell us that these days we are no longer Gold Coast. Gold Coast is not there. We are Black Park. We are Black Shield.
No, but this is a company whose shares are on the stock exchange. So,
really?
Yeah. So I mean.
So where are they going to find where are they going to source the money?
I'm not part of the management. I have no idea.
So you are sourcing money to buy generators. If you have the money that 2022.
Maybe they already have the generators.
So they should put it on the market and give people their, as we say, physical cash. That was the agreement. People are crying. People are grieved. People, you are rubbing salt into their wounds by telling them that, hey, hold on, now I've rebranded, we're a new face. You've rebranded, so my money. Rebranding should come with action. Payment plan till 2022. Yes, we've paid people whose monies were under 2,000 cedis. Come on.
No, they've not even finished paying. They've started paying those who are under 2,000.
So come out there and talk to them. The gentleman said that Mr. Nyame, I listened to him. He did it with his mom was in Dunkwao and then ended up at the Edum branch. His RM at some point the RM would not even answer his phone calls. If you have, this is the time where you are supposed to be telling them from point A. Maybe they've told them so much that now they don't even believe them. That is why the regulator has said, we are at this point here. We are getting there. It is obvious now that you are not in a position at this present juncture to pay them the money. It is very obvious. Because if the money was there, you would have given it to them. Yeah. But don't come back and tell them that now we are going to go into a barter program.
Okay,
really? So next thing you hear, they'll be telling them that money for corn, because there's so much food in there, they are going to buy food for them. They did not say they are hungry for food. Benedicta, they said they want their money.
Thank you very much, Amma. Benedicta.
Yes.
Yeah, so what do you make of this one?
Great. Before I go to that, I would just want to respond to my sister's comment that somewhere last week they were in Ashanti region and the president mentioned that contractors' money were ready and they should go for it. I must say that this should not get us excited.
Why not?
Because
contractors receiving their money is good news.
Because, yes, it's one thing saying it and it's one thing being real. We've had a number of occasions where things are said being done, but it is really not as it is. And let's take this issue of one district, one factory issue.
No, but you can't even
where
go,
you would
but you can't even go there, because the truth of the matter is that
if we are digressing, then I have more to say about 1D1F.
If he said it last week,
no, I'm just saying that. I'm just saying that it's one thing saying as it is, and it's one thing whether it is really as it is. And I'm just giving an instance, some examples, that yes, before this government came to power, we were promised that every district was going to have a factory. Okay. But again, like my district.
But have you sent a proposal? I'm challenging you.
Are we the one to send a proposal?
Yes, you are the one to send the proposal. No.
So you see,
it is private partnership. Send your proposal.
So that is David.
I'm very interested in this.
I know.
When it comes to delivery, then again, issues are. That wasn't what we were told. We were told that every district will be provided.
That was not what you wanted to hear.
That was what you were told.
What you wanted to hear.
They said every district were going to give us $1 million.
We are not digressing. Let's do better trading.
I am just saying that. I am just saying that it is one thing saying it, and it's one thing it being real.
Can I say something?
I'm just going to give you to read so that she knows where there are factories.
Amma, please, hold on. So, Benedicta, the truth of the matter is that the manifesto promise was one district, one factory. The practical rollout of the plan to do one district, one factory was that there will be private partnership with government to do the rollout, unless you didn't hear that at the beginning.
To support. That's why we have
Exim Bank. The whole idea.
So if you say government, if you say government,
proposal, Benedicta, for central
we've had instances where the government say that yes, we have done this.
Okay,
but some of these companies are existing companies.
Okay, so let's go to this
You ask yourself how many shares does the government have? If it's a private partnership, I'm having a partnership.
Government supports them with incentives for the factories to be established.
Yes,
yes, let's go to this issue.
Yes, so, well, I just want to make my point that, that should not get us excited that the government have said it's paid contractors, and so that is it. I am sure if we go out there and ask a number of contractors, they haven't even heard about this. Let's talk about
I've told them now. Contractors, you heard me.
Well, going to this issue, my position or our position is the fact that it's not enough just collapsing banks because you want to save depositors' money. Government have spent 14 billion to collapse some of these banks, or to collapse banks that are defunct. My point is, why can't government use that same money to rejuvenate or to re-strengthen? If it is the issue of management, I am very sure that our government that have promised us that they are going to have a productive, or the economy is going to be, or the economy is going to rely on productivity. Yeah. I believe if the government had invested that money to support this institution, we would have been better off than just collapsing some of these companies or some of these banks. Talking about Gold Coast Fund, yes, some of these banks have suffered because, again, of some contractors borrowing from these banks. Of course, if a contractor, I don't think would want to go to commercial bank or some of these big banks to go and get money and they will get it. They rely on some of these small banks like GN, UT, and DEMS to get funds. We have an issue where a government locked up these contractors' money for years. Interests are increasing by month or each day. And this government, these contractors are not paid. Meanwhile, this current administration promised that they were going to pay their contractors as soon as they come to power. But this has not been done. So for me, the issue of collapsing this bank, again, I still stand that that's not the way to go. You've collapsed the bank. Have depositors' money be recovered? No. Just a few. If you talk about people who have,
we know a few,
who
and
have
they say
claimed,
they
probably,
paid,
I'm
so,
sure they are not up to 10% of the people whose money have been locked up. I am sure they may not be up to 10% the people. There are still people out there who haven't received their money. But I believe that if you're a businessman and your business
that
is...
over 90% of the people who were owed monies from these banks are still being owed.
They have not received. My point is, if you're a businessman and your business is struggling to survive, do you close it and put your hands in your arm and be waiting for manna to fall from it? I don't think that is how a businessman is supposed to go. And the same way, if our government...
But this is a little different. You're looking at the trust of the public. It's a public trust. And
yes, it's the public trust. My
people's
point
monies
is
are
that,
with you.
yes, we have regulators.
The regulator is responsible to protect the interests of the public.
Which is what the regulator...
So
I don't think it's
fair to make the analogy that is a businessman.
My brother, let's look at even other institutions. Like this, what's the name? Men's Gold. You know, how many people have been able to retrieve their money? The issue is, let's collapse it and let's save customers' money. How many people have received their money? Okay. So my point is that it's not just enough to collapse businesses or to collapse companies because you want to save people's deposits. Okay. But then you should rather find a way of strengthening, if it's the issue of administration problem, you should find a way of strengthening the administrative problem. You should find a way of probably injecting capital into these institutions. That would help. That will help them. So it's not enough to just collapse and, you know, people's money are locked up. Of course, money that... if you have 10 cedis today, it will not be the same value maybe in the next month or two, because every day prices of items are increasing. Almost every week or every month. We are seeing an increase in fuel.
You're suggesting that the 14 billion that was used to clean up the sector, the 620 million that was given as liquidity support wasn't enough. They should have added more. But the more that what they gave them already was misappropriated.
They misappropriated it.
And so
I'm saying that for now we cannot say so until
no, but no, we can actually say that they were misappropriated.
Yes. Until it's
because they were not used.
There was this interview where Essien said
the Borders report said that the money had gone into different places.
Yeah, but then I don't know whether you watched this interview with
Paul Adumochiri.
Yes, and he said that if their bank was that distressed, would the current Minister of Finance, would he have asked or come to say they wanted to?
He's a businessman.
But if I want to buy something,
why would you want to buy it?
So let's go by that same analogy.
People buy debt all the time.
I don't think
people buy debt all the time.
So for me, I would say that the issue is important, and so we should wait.
We know you are struggling. That's why we offer to buy you.
Of course.
No.
Because we can tell you're struggling.
I don't think. There's more to it. And I think that we should just wait. We should just wait until investigation happens. We have seen instances where government send people to court and they lose the case.
Okay. Nobody's disputing that fact.
We should wait until. Okay. So let's not judge those directors and shareholders until the court says so.
But so for now, let's just 620 million was injected. That did not even come there.
No, we move past that. We are talking about the Gold Coast Fund issue. All right. So you're basically saying that promises have been made, and until we see traction on this, we shouldn't necessarily believe.
Oh yes,
that
we should not. Again, I'm just giving a number of promises that were given to Ghanaians.
But this one is the new management of or the rebranded Gold Coast Fund who are making this promise.
Yes, yes, they are saying that they are going out there to find money and pay these people, and I think that we should give them the privilege of the doubt to allow them to look for, because of course a lot of businesses are not able to raise. We've had instances where business people sell shares as a way of raising money. We've seen instances where people even try to collaborate with other institutions to raise funds. So if they say they are going to find money and pay depositors, I don't think that is in the wrong direction.
Very quickly, you have 45 seconds to make a comment on this. Communication service tax. Some people are suggesting that the GRA should be directly involved in giving implementation directives, not the Ministry of Communication per se. Yes. I don't know what you think of this.
Yes, I think so. That has always been the case that GRA is in charge of when it comes to tax. At the first place, I want to state the fact that this present government promised us that there were taxes that were levied on items during the past government, and they were going to scrap some of those taxes. They promised us that they were not going to be, the economy is not going to thrive on taxes, but it's going to thrive on productivity or production. But that is not what we are seeing. Okay. At a time when things are really difficult, I don't think this is a time for the government to increase communication service tax by 50%. I think it's just unacceptable. And the issue or the directives given to telecoms to withdraw the notification of customers, I think it's wrong. Okay. And if we are talking about a government that supports transparency, then we need to relook at it again, because again, then it means that there's no transparency here, because you are now telling that shield it from customers, that you are really deducting them. So whether you deduct them upfront or you deduct them as they talk, it's still deduction. So if the government do not want the,
we ran out of time.
The management to deduct, then I think that they should remove the tax, because it's too much.
We ran out of time.
The government definitely said that they are moving from taxation to productivity.
And you're going to do that?
Update on 1D, 1F. I'm just going to give you
we don't have time for updates.
Casa de Europa, Petersfield and Ray Group.
I'm sorry,
so we are doing that. We did say we'd take out taxes. We took out the car year tax. We took out the aviation, domestic aviation tax. So CST, the Minister for Communication, has come up with a directive.
Thank you very much.
We are following it.
Thank you very much to all of you for watching this segment of the show. I've been speaking with Amma Frimpong, who is a government communication team member, and then also to Dr. Benedicta Yayra Fosu-Mensah, who is a lecturer from University of Ghana and member of the NDC National Communication Team. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the next segment. Thank you.
Hi guys, I hope you enjoyed this video.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel, The City Tube,
for exclusive breakfast daily content and other City TV programs.
Like, comment, and share with your friends.